biggest challenge that aspirants often encounter while writing an answer in mains examination is that how to meet the entire demand of the question within the prescribed word limit. Here the word limit is 150 words and the question must be appearing to a bit lengthy. थोड़ा lengthy लग रहा होगा question, मतलब इतना कुछ लिखा हुआ है. They are asking about corrupt practices, representation of People Act. For those who don't know, let me make it clear that Representation of People Act has been clearly mentioned in your UPSC syllabus. Syllabus को current context से connect करके this question has been asked. But the problem is like how to write, how to meet the entire demand of the question, that also within 150 words. कैसे करें 150 शब्दों में आप सब कुछ कैसे मीट करेंगे? अब इस लंबी क्वेश्चन को just have a look. Discuss the corrupt practices for the purpose of RPA 1951. That is the first part of the question. Analyze whether the increase in assets, अगर assets में increase हो रहा है of the legislators and or their associates, ये सिर्फ भटकाने के लिए कहा गया है. You should be like reading it with a bird's eye view ताकि आपको क्वेश्चन आसानी से समझ में आए. Increase in the assets of the legislators disproportionate to their known sources of income. अब इस पूरे को अगर आप सिंपली कहें तो आप ऐसे कह सकते हैं कि disproportionate income. आपने इतना एसेट जनरेट कर लिया that is disproportionate to your sources of income. Means disproportionate asset है आपके पास. आपकी आमदनी 100 रुपए थी पर आपकी जो संपत्ति है 500 रुपए है, तो ऑब्वियसली दैट इज डिस्प्रोपोर्शनेट टू योर इनकम. So the question is asking to analyze whether this disproportionate asset would constitute undue influence and consequently a corrupt practice. अब मजे की बात यह है कि इस क्वेश्चन में लंबी क्वेश्चन पूछा यूपीएससी ने 150 वर्ड्स में. It is expected that you write the entire answer, but if you pick up the keywords, the first keyword is corrupt practice. The second keyword is undue influence. Even though keywords के बीच में the entire question is revolving, but how it is revolving to make aspirants a bit more confusing, the question has loaded it with some lengthy words, lengthy phrases. So the first demand of the question is that you simply discuss the corrupt practices as per the RPA 1951. अब अगर आपने RPA 1951 पढ़ा हुआ है then you will know that in RPA 1951 there is something called section 123. That section 123 speaks about the corrupt practices. अब बहुत ही बेसिक सी बात है. If you don't know what is the actual meaning of corrupt practices as per the RPA 51, you won't be able to write a contextually relevant answer. तो basic से strong होना चाहिए इसमें, factual information आपके पास होनी चाहिए. So as I keep saying in all my sessions that the first mistake an aspirant would commit, अगर mistakes की बात करूं, the first mistake that an aspirant would commit in this question is that they will lack the factual information. Factual information की कमी होगी, so they will omit whatever they feel like that it will be related to corrupt practice. So factual information, or you can say a mispresentation of factual information, ये चीजें अगर नहीं है then one would not be able to write a contextually relevant answer. तो basic से strong होना बहुत जरूरी है. Now what is corrupt practice? So in this section 123 there are certain actions, कुछ ऐसे कारनामे लिखे गए हैं, मेंशन किए गए हैं और कहा गया है कि अगर कोई लेजिस्लेटर या कोई चुनाव लड़ने वाला व्यक्ति या कोई व्यक्ति ये सारे कारनामे कर रहा है तो दैट विल कम अंडर द हेडिंग ऑफ करप्ट प्रैक्टिसेस. क्या क्या है वो? तो दैट कुड बी ब्राइबरी, आप ब्राइब दे रहे हैं किसी को, है ना, आपने घूस दे रहे हैं. यू आर इंड्यूसिंग समवन, ठीक है, आप किसी को लालच दे रहे हैं. यू आर promoting hatred and enmity. These kind of 3-4 points which were actually needed to write a good answer for this question is actually already mentioned in article section 123 of RPA 51. So when the first part of the question is asking you to discuss the corrupt practices, now it is saying discuss. So discuss means question is not asking you to just like give in bullet format all the corrupt practices. That is not the demand of the question. When the question is asking you to discuss, then you need to write how bribery, how inducement, how bribery, how promoting hatred, how promoting enmity could be called corrupt practices. तो आप बता सकते हैं कि with the help of bribing, with the help of inducing, the free and fair electoral right means इस पूरे चीज को you need to connect with free and fair electoral right. जो इलेक्टोरल राइट है एक वोटर का, उसके साथ कहीं ना कहीं खिलवाड़ होगा, right? If you wanted to give your vote to particular party or person or a contestant, but because of inducement, because of getting bribed, because of getting threatened, you may not be executing your right, electoral right with freedom. So that is why it is called a corrupt practice. And if you are writing this way, then you are actually discussing the corrupt practices. So the second mistake that aspirants have committed or may commit is that they will misdiscuss, and also they will miss this word analyze in the second part of the question. So you may misdiscuss. आपने देखा करप्ट प्रैक्टिसेस, अगर आपको आता भी है आरपीए 51 की करप्ट प्रैक्टिसेस का डेफिनेशन, तो व्हाट वन वेरी जेनरिक पर्सन विल डू, दे विल स्टार्ट पॉइंट वाइज, दे विल मेक अ फ्लो चार्ट, या पॉइंट वाइज सारे करप्ट प्रैक्टिसेस को मेंशन कर देंगे, बट दे वोंट डिस्कस. और ये चीजें आपको कोई नहीं बताएगा. इफ यू हैव रिटन अपीयर्ड इन, इफ यू हैव पार्टिसिपेटेड और एनरोल्ड इन एनी कोचिंग टेस्ट सीरीज प्रोग्राम, दे वोंट टेल यू. If the question is corrupt practices, just go on elaborating corrupt practices. But that is a very wrong approach. If you follow that approach, certainly you are not going to get good marks. You will be getting average marks, 1 mark, 2 marks. So this way we dealt with the first part of the question. The second part is analyze whether increase in assets. The second part is asking you to analyze. Analyze का मतलब हिंदी में अगर देखें तो विश्लेषण कीजिए. एनालाइज करना है आपको. यू नीड टू एनालाइज मीन्स यू नीड टू गेट इनटू द डिटेल्स. एनालाइज क्या करना है? दैट वेदर डिस्प्रोपोर्शनेट एसेट्स कैन कॉन्स्टिट्यूट अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस. तो ये जो हमने कहा कि द सेकेंड टर्म, की टर्म ऑफ दिस इज लाइक अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस, दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस, दिस अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस इज ऑल्सो मेंशन्ड इन दिस सेक्शन 123. तो सेक्शन 123 आरपीए में करप्ट प्रैक्टिसेस भी मेंशन्ड है, अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस भी मेंशन्ड है, एंड दिस हैज बीन इन न्यूज बिकॉज ऑफ सेवरल इलेक्शंस गोइंग ऑन इन थ्रू आउट द कंट्री, और ये हमेशा से न्यूज में रहता है. तो इस वजह से द यूपीएससी हैज पिक्ड इट, कनेक्टेड विद द स्टैटिक पार्ट, picked a topic from the current affairs, connected with the static part and asked you a question to write. तो undue influence भी सेक्शन 123 में. अब अगर आप देखेंगे कि undue influence का बेसिक सा मीनिंग, लिटरल मीनिंग अगर आपसे कहूं, तो आपको पता चलेगा कि दैट undue influence is something that a kind of influence which is like beyond the proportion. आपने किसी के ऊपर ऐसा दबाव बनाया, you pressurized someone, you you acted in a particular way that the person's decisions can be changed. ठीक है, अगर आपने ऐसा कोई काम किया जिससे किसी सामने वाले व्यक्ति का डिसीजन बदल जाए, so that will called an undue influence because that person is acting under your influence and that influence is unwarranted, not required. You are making that influence for your own personal benefit. अब ये undue influence का मतलब आपको पता होना चाहिए. If you know the meaning of undue influence as briefly given in this section 123, then we can, after this, you can switch to the second part of the answer, and you can briefly give one sentence of definition of undue influence, like it is mentioned in section 123, and that undue influence needs to be connected. The question is asking to analyze whether this disproportionate assets can constitute undue influence and corrupt practice. तो assets, कौन से एसेट्स? सारे एसेट्स नहीं, डिस्प्रोपोर्शनेट एसेट्स मींस आपकी औकात नहीं थी उतनी, पर आपने संपत्ति इतना बना लिया, उस एसेट को अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस से कनेक्ट करना है. इज इट पॉसिबल दैट दोज डिस्प्रोपोर्शनेट एसेट्स can lead to undue influence, and if that undue influence can be called a corrupt practice. So this is the analysis of this part is the second part of the question. इसको analyze करने को the question is expecting you to analyze this part. If you can analyze it, like you give a definition of undue influence, you connect it with the assets, disproportionate assets, and you need to write whether undue influence can be called a corrupt practice. Now, if you do this, so undue influence में कुछ भी हो सकता है, like it could be the same thing, bribing, or it could be like creating disproportionate kind of scenarios where someone is getting influenced, as I elaborated a while ago. But this part, that whether it will constitute corrupt practice. Now here is the catch. You need to understand that nowhere in this section 123 disproportionate asset is being called as a corrupt practice. ये catch है. Disproportionate asset होना is illegal in the country. That's true. But it is illegal not because of this RP 51. It is illegal because of different acts like PMLA Act, Prevention of Corruption Act. उस act के अंदर that is illegal. But to have disproportionate assets is not mentioned in this RP 51. That's why the question is asking you to analyze कि साहब आप analyze करो क्या disproportionate asset होना can it be called a corrupt practice? So yes, you can say, you can write a very beautiful conclusion that though possession of disproportionate asset is not directly mentioned to be as a corrupt practice in RP 51, is still given the money, the power the money comes with, it may lead to promotion of bribery, inducement of voter mentality. इस तरीके से you need to write that अगर किसी के पास disproportionate asset है तो obviously he will be having lots of money. Money है, cash है. अब किसी के पास कैश ज्यादा हो गया तो डोंट यू थिंक दैट ही कैन ब्राइब द वोटर्स, ही कैन इंड्यूस द वोटर्स? और अगर पैसे से समवन इज ट्राइंग टू ब्राइब द वोटर्स और इंड्यूस द वोटर्स, then obviously the aspects of bribery and inducements are coming into the play, and then in that case disproportionate assets can be called as a corrupt practice. बहुत सिंपल था, but the question will appear difficult because of very two basic reasons. First is that the question was framed a bit lengthy. Second is that you have to write all these in 150 words. Third is like you need to connect the basics. Basics अगर आपको पता नहीं है, you would not have been able to write a contextually relevant answer. So the purpose of this session is that you need to understand what to write, how to write. If you are not able to understand कि आपको particular question को लिखना कैसे है, you will certainly not be able to write contextually relevant answer और नंबर भी आपको average आएंगे. See you next session.